and ruthless oppressors ruling countries that don't even care about the suffering of humanity. There's injustice in this world. There are billionaires on one side and poor people that don't have any food at all to eat on the other side. There are people who try to educate you, like the Sheikh here, and provide school for you. And there are others who withhold education from people. All of these things are happening in the world. And so it seems like that everything is dark. It seems like everything is gloomy. When you watch the news on the internet or TV, and you see and witness all of the problems in the world, everything seems dark and gloomy, doesn't it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala azza wa jalla, when he revealed the Quran, the next to the last surah of the Quran, I believe that most of you have memorized Surah Al-Falaq. How many of you have memorized Surah Al-Falaq? Surah Al-Falaq. How many of you? Yeah. Okay. All right. Listen to me. Because I'm going to use a verse in that surah to help make a point, to help you, with the help of Allah, take a good look at yourself. I want you to recite with me the first part of Surah Al-Falaq. Are you ready? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq min sharri ma khalaq wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab. That's enough for now. You sound so beautiful. SubhanAllah. You know, I was raised around music when I was, before I was Muslim, and I used to love music. But wallahi, the sound of your beautiful voices reciting the Quran is better than any music I ever heard in my life. As a matter of fact, I would even say that if there was anything more beautiful than the sound of a young voice reciting the Quran, then Allah must have kept it to himself. I'm going to listen to you, I'm going to hear you in my dreams. Okay, Allah tells us in Surah Al-Falaq, He tells us out of His mercy and out of His desire for us to maximize our belief in Him, to help us really appreciate what He has for us. He tells us how to talk to Him. He says, say this to me. He says, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the dawn. We can stop right there. What is dawn? Dawn is right after there has been darkness. Right? The first prayer that we offer to begin our day is as soon as daylight breaks. Before the sun even rises, as soon as daylight comes, then that is Fajr, and we offer prayers to begin the day. But before that dawn, before that daybreak, before the sky began to get light, it was dark. You couldn't see. But we know that this is the God who created us, and He is telling us, don't worry. Because just as sure as I created darkness, I provided light for you. So light, the dawn, the Fajr, is also a brightness after everything has been dark. This world is dark and gloomy because of all the problems that exist in the world, all the injustice. But there is light, so Allah is saying to us, seek refuge in Allah. Seek refuge. Cry to Allah. Run to Allah. Seek protection in Allah from who created the dawn. That as sure as their things are dark, Allah promises us that things are going to get brighter. Because dawn is a it's been done. Done is also an answer after there has been a question. Done is also a solution after there has been a problem. Done is also hope after things look hopeless. So here's where you come in, my beloved sisters and my beloved brothers. Here's where you come in. There's a star that the Lord created. And some of the scholars have given it the name Sirius, the mighty star. It is referenced in the story called Taurus, the mighty star. Taurus means a light that pierces through the darkness. And that's where I want you to see yourself. In this world that is in so much trouble, in this world where even some of the most religious Muslims are sitting back, not doing anything to help the condition of the world. Even here in Ghana, there are Muslims that are in a position to help the poor people that refuse to. So it's not just outside of Islam. It's everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. There are problems that are not being solved because there are people who are in a position to solve the problem that aren't doing anything. And so all the education that you are provided here in this school, all of the lessons, all of the Quran that you memorize and recite and use to pray, the salawat, all of the hadith, the ahadith that you memorize, the adab that you learn on how to respect each other, the brothers respecting the sisters respecting the brothers, and you each respectively respect each other's space. Look how beautiful and quiet and orderly and mannerable and courteous and polite you are. Sitting quietly. The brothers on their side, the sisters on their side. And you're paying attention. Because you want to bring just the way you bring order to the school. It's the way that we need you. We, the older generation, we need you to use this same principle to help bring order to the rest of the world. This is where you are needed, my beloved sisters and my beloved brothers. We want you to give the rest of the world hope. We want you to be serious like the mighty star. And in this world that seems dark and gloomy, with so many problems, when you arrive on the scene, after you've been educated in this magnificent school, after you have been influenced by the very positive teaching staff of this school, of this madrasa, after you have been influenced by the parents who love you so much that they want to try to at least temporarily separate you from the dunya so you can be in this beautiful Islamic environment. After you have educated yourself, then I want you to emerge into the world stage and embellishing all of the ideas and your plans and your human aspirations, what you want to accomplish in this world. Some of you want to be doctors, nurses, engineers, architects, teachers, plumbers, electricians. Each one of you have goals in life. But what we want you to do is balance a mizan. Balance your Islamic education perfectly with your secular desires, your human aspirations, and emerge onto this dark, gloomy world like a bright, shining star. And be that dawn, be that period of light after everything has been dark. We're depending on you. We, the older generations, my Sahaba here, the Shaykh, the older generations, we depend on you because only Allah knows when Malakul Maut, the angel of death, is coming for us. But just in case he comes soon, we need you to get ready now. We don't consider you, we're not comfortable considering you to be our future. We're more comfortable considering you to be our now. Prepare yourself for leadership now. the Muslims in our history that surrounded Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and a couple of generations after him. Many of them were young people just like yourself who emerged onto the Islamic scene, to the world stage. And they made changes in the world. They fought for Islam. Their jihad wasn't only on the battlefield. Their jihad was first within themselves to fight the temptation of Shaitan. Then the jihad was in their environment, in their neighborhoods, in their locales, to make sure that the world respects morality. The world respects basic human ethics that are taught to us by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That we want you to emerge and rise onto the scene and serve notice to the rest of the world that you are here to make a change. That you want to be that light of piercing darkness in this dark world. You want to pierce the darkness of the hopelessness that this world is beginning to see. The suffering in Gaza, the suffering in Uganda, the suffering in Chechnya, the suffering in Sudan. All over the world there are people suffering at the hands of wicked, sacrilegious oppressors who don't think like you, who don't think like your parents think, who don't think like your teachers think. All they want is something for themselves. But you're going to be different. You are going to be the one that makes the difference in this world. And we're counting on you. Because if Allah doesn't allow us to live much longer, then we want to be comfortable. We want to go to our grave smiling, knowing that it's okay, it's all right, it's safe for me to pass away now. I can return to Allah in peace because my brothers and my sisters in this madrasa are going to take over the baton. And then we can pass in the baton, and you will be the one that will carry on to improve this world, to fix this broken world with the spirit of Islam, with the spirit of righteousness, with the spirit of proper Islamic advantage. And you will be the one to let the world know that you have been taught properly, and you respect what you have been taught, that you respect the presence of Allah, that you have complete taqwa, and that because of the balance, the mizan, that you have between your secular knowledge and your religious education, your Islamic education, that each and every one of you will rise to the excellence of your human potential. And when you do that, you, my beloved sisters, and you, my beloved brothers, will be the light that will shine into the dark, gloomy world like Sirius, the mighty star. And let the world see that, yes, there is hope. That I'm here now. Right. I'm serving notice to the world. No more oppression. Not on my watch. No more oppression. No more suffering. No more starvation. No more ridicule. Right, yes. And we will slowly begin to change the face of the world so that everyone enjoys the beautiful ethics of Islamic morality. That you, my sisters especially, the power that Allah has put in the righteous women, you have the power, just based on the way that you carry yourself, the way that you dress, the way your mannerisms, your character, you can actually change the face of the world and reduce the crime and oppression that exists throughout the world. You can do that. Just be like you are today and don't change. And my brothers, subhanAllah, you have to be courageous enough to stand up against anything that's un-Islamic and promote the beauty of Islam. That's your charge. That's your duty. I trust Allah that He will inspire each of you to hang on tight. And hold on tight to the rope of Allah. Don't be divided among yourselves. If there's any division, you should be divided from Shaitan, divided from the wicked people who are influenced by Shaitan. But do not be divided among yourselves. And once you join together in that mutual teaching of love and harmony Islamically, we actually can have hope for to fix this broken world. May Allah bless you. May Allah protect you. May Allah guide you. And may Allah keep you strong so that we can fix the things that are going wrong in this world. I love you for the sake of Allah. Kuli kalihada astaghfirullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we would like to thank Sheikh Imam, the old young man. That is how we call him, the young old man. We have a couple of them. There is one called Sheikh Al-Haji Namti. He's also in the United States of America. That is the group. I know them, the young old man. We thank him for the wonderful lectures, very inspiring. This is not the lectures for just the students, we the teachers have equally benefited from the wisdom. We have tapped from it, we have benefited from it, alhamdulillah. If there is anyone who wants a question, one or two questions, you want to answer, go ahead. Is there anyone? Okay.
Bro, you gotta speak English. You gotta speak the English.
Questions.
How does the dawah, like how does it start? The dawah, how does it start?
Yeah, I say,
How do you start the dawah?
how they play it, yeah, bro. Bro, you gotta speak it well. Nigga, you got the accent. Hey, you got the accent?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The young brother asked how to start a dawah group. In my experience in putting together Islamic organizations and committees, clubs and so forth, I learned that it's best to start off very, very small. First start with yourself. You have to be convinced that what you want to do is so important that you have to carefully put it together. You have to be convinced that what you want to do with dawah is so important that you don't want anything to get in the way of it. You have to be convinced how important the message is. You have to be convinced that people will benefit from it if it's delivered correctly. First you give the dawah to yourself. Then, after you give the dawah to yourself and you convince yourself, yes, this is an important message, yes, people will benefit, then you talk to one or two people only. Don't try to get a big group together. It won't get off the ground. You talk to one or two, not more than that, of like-minded young people. It could be a brother or a sister that you're allowed to speak to. And you convince them of what you are convinced about. You make sure they think just like you. You make sure that they understand the importance of the message. And you start there. And then you begin to talk to people who need that message. Little by little, people will ask to be a part of what you're doing. Because if people love you or like you because of your personality, because you're a nice brother, and you ask them to join your movement, you have to be very careful. This is my experience. Because some of them will only join the movement because they like you, and not because they think the movement is important. So they have to feel in their heart similar, not exactly, but they have to feel in their heart similar to what you feel. And they will take ownership in that mission. And then little by little, it will begin to grow on its own because you'll begin to attract people who realize the importance of the mission, and your dawah will begin to grow. I promise you, brother, I'm telling you, I made mistakes. Most of the lessons that I learned in life, I learned from mistakes that I made. Do not, I repeat, do you hear me? Do not try to start big with a large group. You won't get anywhere. You won't be able to feel the sincerity of the people. Because some of them will only be attracted because of you. It's the same thing when you get ready to get married. You sisters may be a little too young to think about marriage, brother. But when you think about marriage, you do not want someone who's only in Islam just to please their parents. You don't want someone who's only getting married just because they want to make their mother or daddy happy. Everything has to be for the love and the pleasure of Allah and for the benefit of the Ummah. Please understand that. It was a very good question, but you can apply it to most anything. So you want to start a Dawah group, begin with yourself. I hope that I'm clear. Did that help? Was it helpful? I was in Mecca once, and the Imam Abdullah ibn Sadeh was giving a khutbah. And he said, now mind you now, he was talking to all Muslims because you're the keys of the Kaaba, the Juma. And he said, if you're not giving dawah, you're missing the whole point of being Muslim. Our duty, our obligation. I can say it's an obligation because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, what Allah and His Messenger enjoins you to do as much as you can. And Allah says to the Ma'idah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu awfu fil or you believe, fulfill all your obligations. So you should have an obligation. Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, La yu'minu ahadakum hatta yuhibbu li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi. Now one of you is a believer until you love for your brother what you love for your own soul. Do you love Islam for your soul? You love Islam, right? You love it. You're happy to be Muslim, right? You love the Quran, right? You love the teachings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? You enjoy, you love your salat, right? You love all of that. You love it when Ramadan comes, right? You're happy. Don't you wish that you could go to Mecca and walk around the Kaaba? You love that, right? Every person on the face of the planet Earth is our brother and sister. They may not be our brother and sister in Islam, but they are brother and sister because we're all children of Adam. Right? Yes. So, if you love them, if you really want the blessing from Allah, then we should feel obligated to give them the invitation to Islam. You can't force them, but at least give them the invitation. Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and Allah said, told him he was going to say this. It's in the Quran. He said, it is only my duty to give you the clear message. So yes, it is an obligation to give the dawah. You're obligated to do it. There's no sin if you don't, but there's no reward for you if you don't. We are obligated to do as much as we can to invite people to this religion. Yeah. And dawah is not just what you say. Not everyone is able to speak. Not everyone knows how to talk. But everyone knows how to act. You're being taught in this school good, proper Islamic adab, correct? So at least your character should at least be enough to influence someone to be curious about Islam. I hope that was helpful. Okay. The brother asked, could a male give dawah to a female? I want to ask you if you're paying close attention to how I answered your last question. Because I said that some of the best dawah is your character. It's not always in what you say. There are some weak brothers who Shaitan has influenced that want to hide their attraction and their un-Islamic attraction to sisters by using dawah speech as an excuse to talk to sisters. And some sisters whose heart has been weakened by Shaitan and influenced by another weak brother will use dawah as an excuse to get close to someone because they think that that's going to help the cause of Islam. So to answer your question, can a brother give dawah to a sister? It depends on what's on his mind and his interpretation or perception of what dawah is. If he wants to try to convince someone, if he wants to try to convince the angels who write down our records, if he wants to try to convince his parents or convince the shaykh that the only way to give dawah is to talk softly to a sister or send her text messages or email or talk on the telephone, if he wants to convince someone that that's the only way to invite them to Islam, then the only one he's fooling is himself. Because Allah, who is as-Samiyah, the all-hearer, does not require sound in order to hear. He can hear the hearts. So if a brother says, I want to give dawah to that sister, what is it about the sister that makes him think that she needs to hear from him to come to Islam? What is it that he wants to say to her? Because many brothers, I don't know about Ghana, but in prison, in America, there is 350,000 Muslim men in prison. And many of them, they get out of prison and they use the little bit of knowledge they have about Islam to weaken some sister and make her think that he's an expert on Islam. So he gives her what we call Prislam and make her think that whatever he says for her to do is okay. So if a brother, I don't know who asked you that, I don't know who you were representing when you asked the question, and I pray to Allah that if it applies to you, that you take a lesson from it. If a brother thinks that only speaking privately to a sister is the only way to get dawah, then I would say no. But if you understand that the best dawah is your character, the uswatun hasana of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best character, and show that good example, right? You know what taqwa? Taqwa is the total respect, unlimited and consistent respect for the presence of Allah. So if that brother, any brother, who sees a sister who's not Muslim, and he wants to influence her to come to Islam, if he's sincere, then he will go to a sister who's halal for him. His sister, his mother, his auntie, or someone said there's a sister who needs to hear about Islam. Can you please talk to them? Because I don't trust Shaitan. And many sisters come to my masjid and they want to meet me. I'm feeling bad. Can you tell me about Islam? I said, can you hold on for 1 minute? I'll get my cell phone and I call my wife. Because my wife is my protection. And the Prophet said, when Allah loves a man, he gives him a righteous wife. If he marries her, she'll protect him from the hellfire and what you'll have this day. So I call my wife to protect me from Shaitan. Yes. Huh? Yeah. And I said, listen, you talk to this sister, and if you need help, I'll tell you what to say to her. In the meantime, I will at least be an example, and even my refusal to shake a sister's hand when women come up to me and they're going to shake my hand like this. I'll pull my arm across my chest, and I give them down and say, why do you shake my hand? Because I respect you. And in order for me to touch your hand, you have to be my daughter, or my mother, or my auntie, yes, or my wife. And right now, you're neither one. But my wife can shake your hand and she can embrace you and even kiss you on your face. But I do not trust Shaitan, because he made a vow and a promise to Allah that he will always come after us. But Shaitan didn't say he was going to come after us in in the casinos, in the gambling rooms, in the prostitution houses, in the drug houses. He said, I'm going to lie and wait for them on your straight way. So Shaitan is in the masjid. Shaitan is sometimes right next to you when you're trying to pray. Shaitan is sitting next to you when you're trying to read the Quran and make you think you're too sleepy to read the Quran. Shaitan is going inside your neck into your temple vein when you see a beautiful non-Muslim sister and you say, man, she will make a pretty wife. Let me go give her some dawah. Hey, sister. Hey, sister. You want some Islam? Come on over, Islam. Let me tell you about Islam. Yeah. And you know, she said, okay. And then some sisters, non-Muslims, come to the message and say, you know, my boyfriend is a Muslim. We get that all the time. Now, I gave you a long answer to your question because it was a very good question. So I hope you understand. If you or any of your friends are really sincere about inviting a non-Muslim female to Islam, then you ask Allah to protect you and ask Allah to guide you. That's in Al-Fatiha, right? Asking for guidance in Al-Fatiha. So you recite Al-Fatiha and ask Allah, guide me and show me how to do this, inshallah. Otherwise, you might push yourself all the way into the hellfire.
What is fight?
I get that question a lot. But I'm going to try to calm down. Okay, so you have to be quiet. I'm trying to calm down because my throat is getting tired. I've been speaking all week. The brother Imam Muhammad working. What inspired me, the sister said, to come to Islam? Okay, I want you to think about this. Because some of you, can everybody hear me? Some of you are in this school, only parents told you you have to come. Some people are in this school because some of you are in this school because you have a best friend that you want to be with all day. Some of you are in school because you have to, but then some of you are in school because you really want to learn more about your religion and you want to be a better Muslim and understand and be more knowledgeable. What inspired me to come to Islam is because the religion that I had before did not inspire me. It didn't give me any inspiration. I didn't realize that it wasn't even a real religion. Because when I was a Christian Methodist, when I was a Christian Baptist, when I was a Christian Jehovah's Witness, I was only doing what my parents told me to do. But yet, I was doing things that were wrong that made Shaitan happy. I was making Shaitan happy even in the basement of the church. We were telling dirty jokes and hiding cigarettes in our back pocket and playing with the girls, and the girls playing with the boys. Even inside the church, even in the choir, we were trying to decide which, after choir rehearsal for the church, we were trying to decide who's going to be our boyfriend or girlfriend. So and even in the church, when I was a professional gospel singer, I used to sing church songs and get paid for it. But I was in a street gang. That we were fighting over territory, and fighting over drugs, and fighting over girls. So I didn't have enough inspiration. And when I realized that I was not pleasing God, that's when Islam, the Prophet Islam, the real Islam, the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was presented to me, and I realized that this is what I needed to correct my behavior. We are taught by the scholars, my sister, very, very good question, we are all blessed. The Tawbah is the highest form of worship. And I realized that I needed to repent or make Tawbah to Allah for all the wrong I had done. And the best way to make Tawbah, even as a Muslim, is to come to Islam wholeheartedly. So I was not inspired. Islam, pure Islam, gave me the inspiration to live a good, upright, morally conscious life, to respect myself and respect others, and most of all, to respect the presence of Allah, because respecting the presence of Allah is what is called taqwa. And Allah says, she says, that when the Muezzin gives the adhan, he says, Hayya ala salat. Come with humility, come with shame to the real success. So I wanted to be successful, sister. Not success according to what human beings call success. Not material success. I want to be successful as Allah perceives success. And what Allah calls success is taqwa and having total respect for the presence of Allah. And that's what Islam invited me to. And each day, after each prayer, after each dhikr, after each Jummah, after each Ramadan, after each time I walk around the Kaaba, when my being got a little better, a little tighter, a little more significant. And that's why I came to Islam, and I found that, and I keep getting better every day. You know something else, sister, as I conclude? I'm telling you the truth. Coming to this school and seeing you beautiful sisters, oh my God, so beautiful. And you beautiful, strong brothers. I feel like I'm going to be a better Muslim now. Just looking at you and seeing the way that you carry yourself, the way that you discipline yourself, you're so beautifully disciplined. I feel like a better Muslim. I feel like now I can go out and be a light, a shining brightness. I can go back to America and tell the people that there's hope, because I promise you people in America, there's some beautiful brothers and sisters in Ghana that's ready to change this world. So I feel better now. Yes, so it doesn't stop because I accepted Islam. It didn't stop with my first rakah. It didn't stop when I memorized Al-Fatiha and Surah Al-Ikhlas. My growth continues to go because Muhammad Sallallahu said, seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, and my grave is coming close. I know that I look young, but I'm 75 years old. I was here practicing Islam before some of your parents were born. So yes, I came to Islam and I found what I was looking for, sisters. I found what I was looking for. And now you are helping me. So we need you. Thank you for your questions.
I want to ask, how is the American population
Speak louder, speak louder.
How is the American receptive to Islam in the wake of current rise of Islamophobia across the world?
Say it again.
Somebody repeat the question for me.
I say, how is American accepting Islam?
How is the American population receptive to Islam?
Accepting?
Yes.
How is American accepting Islam?
Oh, okay.
Receptive to Islam.
Receptive to Islam in America.
In the wake of current rise of Islamophobia across the world.
What was the last part of her question? How America is accepted to Islam. I heard that part. What was the last part?
In the current rise of Islamophobia.
Oh, I love that one. Thank you. I did a TV show in Tanzania several years ago. And they asked me about Islamophobia. Right now in America, Islam is growing very fast. Every time the media says something bad about Muslims, more people get curious about Islam, and we give the dawah to them and they accept Islam. It seems that no matter how hard the media tries, Islam keeps growing. But Allah knew that, that's why He put in the Quran. I forget what source it is. He said they think they can put out the light of Allah with their mouths. So the Son. Yes, to the Son. I want to ask all the teachers in here. What I'd like for you to do is, in the next class, sit down with the students and go over the translation of the sword and just talk about it. Very excellent question. May Allah bless you, sister. Generally, the Muslims who are behaving like Muslims, the Muslims that are carrying themselves properly, the Muslims that are publicly doing what Islam demands, to carry themselves properly, or doing more for the advancement of Islam than anything else. It's the dawah in America is very, very easy, usually by the people who are actually practicing Islam correctly. It's very easy. The line of demarcation or the difference between Christians in America and Muslims in America is how Jesus, peace be upon him, Isa ibn Maryam, alayhi salam, is viewed. So many people, we bought a church and made it into a masjid. So many people who used to go to that building when it used to be a church come back and ask us questions about Islam, and we tell them and they accept Islam. One Baptist preacher came to the masjid to debate with me and ask me, why don't we love Jesus? And 30 minutes later, when I got finished talking to him, he took off his cross and took Shahada and changed his name to Muhammad Wazir. Dawah in America. Now, let me tell you what Islamophobia actually is. Phobia, or phobe, is the Latin word for fear. You would be afraid of something. The people, most of the people, the overwhelming majority of people who do not come to Islam, it's not because they're afraid of Islam. They're not afraid of Islam. It's because they are afraid of sacrificing their un-Islamic lifestyle for Islam. They are so comfortable with their pork. They're so comfortable with their alcohol. They're so comfortable with their drugs. They're so comfortable with their fornication and adultery. They're so comfortable with their riba. They're so comfortable with their un-Islamic lifestyle that they know that if Islam grows, and even if they accept Islam, they'll have to give up that lifestyle that they're comfortable with that is only making Shaitan happy. So they're not afraid of Islam. They're afraid to give up the lifestyle they're comfortable with. So they're intimidated by their own lifestyle. So I wouldn't call it Islamophobia. I would call agnostophobia. They're agnostic. They know God is important. They just don't think he's worth praying to like we do. I would argue that whoever is afraid of Islam is the Muslims. They're afraid of our own religion. We're ashamed and embarrassed to pray for someone to see us in public. We're ashamed of it, and it's mostly in America. And they're ashamed. Some men and some fathers and some husbands tell their girls and their wives, you don't have to cover your hair because someone may profile you. They're ashamed, they're embarrassed. They're ashamed and embarrassed to try to get permission from their job to go for one to give up some of their religion because they're embarrassed about their religion. So I would say that Islamophobia doesn't affect non-Muslims as much as it affects the Muslims. So we got to stand up. And so in Islam, in America, Islam is growing very, very fast. Our masjid began with 2 people. We couldn't even have Jummah prayer. 2 people, we just prayed Dhuhr prayer. Then we began to give dawah more and more, feeding the hungry people. Giving clothes to the people that didn't have clothes, furniture for people who had no place to stay. And now we have over 350 people coming to Jummah prayer, subhanAllah. And many of them are new Muslims that just accepted Islam.
Thank you so much. I don't know. So we'll give the mic to Sheikh Ahmed give us those dua. And everybody was seated whilst Sheikh goes to release us, say goodbye to us, and inshallah, next year we'll see you, right?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. اللهم اجعلنا مستقيما في الصراط العزيز. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا إننا جعلنا الناس في يوم لا ريب فيه ما كانوا يؤمنون. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين واذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر اعداءك اعداء الدين وانصر عبادك المجاهدين. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين واذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر اعداءك اعداء الدين وانصر عبادك المجاهدين. ربنا تقبل دعانا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا انك انت التواب الرحيم. اللهم انك امرتنا بالدعاء ووعدتنا بالاجابه وقد دعوناك كما وعدتنا برحمتك يا رب الراحمين. اللهم انا نسالك علما نافعا مباركا وعملا صالحا مباركا وعملا متقبلا. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما اخرنا وما اسررنا وما اعلنا وما انت اعلم به منا وارحمنا انك انت الغفور الرحيم. اللهم انك اعلم بحوائجنا قبلها وانت تعلم بذنوبنا فاغفرها. اللهم انك اعلم بحوائجنا قبلها وانت تعلم بذنوبنا فاغفرها. برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. ان الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا ايها الذين امنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. صلى الله عليه وسلم.
So, well, yes. Check from them. Okay.